Why don't you provide sort of an overview of really what Amway is today?
So Amway is one of the leading direct selling companies, really providing a business opportunity that allows people to have their own businesses. We provide the support, we provide the brands and products, and they build their own independent business through it. And between the two of us, we really have a great harmony and synergy.
And that's always been the business model?
That's always been the business model.
Okay.
So now we are established in 1959. We are over $11 billion in sales worldwide. We operate in over 100 countries and territories across the globe.
So when you joined the company back in 2007,
yes.
What was the state of affairs, and what did you feel needed to be the first thing to happen?
Well, when I joined, the company had just gone through a major initiative called Growth Through Innovation. And that's where they were focused on becoming more innovative. So innovation was a big pillar, becoming more consumer-oriented, and becoming more performance-driven. And so I was brought in to bring the consumer understanding to the business model that was very strong. Which
you clearly brought because you had experience at General Mills. You were at L'Oreal.
Yes.
But you have a P&G background, and
yes.
Coca-Cola.
And Coca-Cola, so yes.
Very traditional consumer brands.
Exactly.
And all global brands as well.
And all global brands. So yes, so my job was really to bring the discipline of consumer packaged goods to the direct selling business model. And it's been amazing to do that because you really have to apply what you've learned in, for me it was about 25 years elsewhere, and then say, how would that work through our direct selling model and utilizing our distributors as, really our major spokespeople out in the world.
So how does that work? I mean, I can imagine it's, you're taking the same concepts, but you're not applying it to the same type of business model. So, where did you find sticky points and where did you find real opportunity?
Yes, the greatest thing was really finding the balance in, if you're in a CPG, you're really talking to the consumers and driving them to the stores. What we're trying to do now is build awareness about not only Amway, the company, and the business opportunity, but our major brands like Artistry and Nutrilite. And we are, in essence, greasing the skids so that when the distributors are talking to people about the products or about the business opportunity, the awareness is there, and it makes it easier for them to do their jobs.
Okay, so where does advertising and media come in, and what's your strategy in both those areas?
So the actual advertising occurs, as I said, we operate in over 100 countries and territories across the globe. We're divided into 4 major regions. So the company does the advertising, and the company, so that each of the regions in their local markets will develop their media strategy. But we at the headquarters, along with the global teams, develop the global strategies and the major global advertising. That then becomes tailored at the market level so that it becomes more relevant. And then it makes it easier for the distributors as they talk about the business opportunity and the products.
So clearly that consistency globally was really necessary to develop, while also allowing for differences market to market.
Yes, because part of the growth through innovation was actually putting an enterprise strategy over the Amway business. As I said, we grew up with many of these markets opening individually by the company, and so they had their own management structure and they had their own way of how they went about marketing their products. But as our distributors started having businesses in different parts of the world, there wasn't consistency across the brands. So it was very important for us to bring the global consistency, bring global positioning, and then the global advertising that supported it, such that when anybody was anywhere across the globe and they came across something about Artistry or about Nutrilite or about the Amway brand in its entirety, it was consistent.
Who is the core Amway shopper, if you will, consumer, and both in the U.S. but also globally?
Yeah, you know what? It varies by country because the ages of the countries around the globe are very, very different. So traditionally, as I said, we were founded in 1959. So the distributors really range from Gen Y all the way up to baby boomers.
The distributors do.
The distributors do. And the distributors are actually major consumers themselves because they really do need to understand the products in order to sell them, and then in order to recruit more people to become part of the business opportunity. So they're a major part of the consumers. But as with any other consumer packaged good, you want the general public to be your consumers as well. So you'll be in countries like Turkey or India where the average age is 27, and you have to make sure that you have products for that. Or you'll be in Asia, or particularly in a country like Korea, where the beauty market for Korea, the women would utilize, on average 11 products when they go through their daily regimen. So so it will vary depending on where you are in that respective country. So that's why it's important to really understand the local relevance and the local culture. It's not necessarily one size fits all.
So to borrow a term used in social media, influencer, arguably you're talking about distributors as influencers and using word of mouth and the power of persuasion and recommendation to encourage others to buy the product. So that being said, what role is social media playing in your strategy?
It's funny because we often say that Amway was the original social network. Before there was any social media, we have more than 3 million distributors across the globe. Yeah. So that's a lot of word of mouth.
Sure.
But now, with the onset of social media, a couple of things happen. One, there are no global borders anymore. So people can see things from one country to the next, and we want to make sure what they see is consistent. The other thing is we want to make sure that when the distributors are talking about a product or one of our new brands, that they have all the information at their disposal. So we utilize not only social media but digital marketing. We utilize information on whatever handheld technology that they have to put it at their fingertips, so that while they're talking, they'll have a video in front of them, or they'll have a skin recommender to help them talk about what product to use, or a nutrition recommender to do the same thing. And it really does put their business at their fingertips.
So talk a little bit about how you've applied innovation to individual brands, for example, the Artistry brand.
Yes, okay. Artistry. Artistry is our prestige beauty brand. It's actually in the top 5 prestige beauty brands around the globe. Again, no one knows it. But in order to be prestige beauty, there are some cues that have to happen. You have to have, of course, great technology in your products, but you have to have a package that's recognizable. You have to have positioning that's global, and you have to have a face, a global face. We didn't really have any of that. And so to be able to take it from, just truly a product to a brand, technology was always there. We have a tremendous R&D, and so that was always a part of it. We worked with Select Ad Agency in New York and developed a package that has a silhouette that we call crescendo because it has an upward slanting cap. And that's another mark of a prestige brand, is that no matter, without labels, you know what the package is by the silhouette. So it now has a distinctive silhouette. We hired a new face of artistry, the rising actress from Australia named Teresa Palmer. You may have seen her she was in Bedtime Stories, and she was number 6 in I Am Number 4, and upcoming movies are like Warm Bodies. She's a star of Warm Bodies.
But again, a great global figure.
Face, incredible personality, and engages with our distributors tremendously well. And that's very, very important.
That's great.
And then with her as our face, developed global advertising that goes along with. So Teresa's face is everywhere. We started launching in the fall in Korea and Japan and Thailand. And then we will go to the rest of the world starting in the spring of this year.
Let's talk about the role of sponsorship too, because I know that you have the Amway Center, for example. Artistry is the sole or major cosmetic sponsor of
Miss America.
Miss America?
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that.
And the great thing about sponsorships is it also varies by country. So here in the U.S., the Amway Center in Orlando is an incredible venue for us. And when we did that, it was interesting. They didn't talk about naming rights. They talked about vision rights. And the arena was done such that everything is digital. So you can tailor your message to whatever market is, whatever consumer is in there at that time.
Wow.
So it changes from a concert to a Orlando Magic basketball game. And that's really important to make sure that we're making the right connections. So there we also have a Neutralite Magic fan experience where they can go learn about nutrition and the things that they should be doing. But in addition to sponsoring Miss America through our artistry brand here in the US, we sponsor the Busan International Film Festival in Korea for the Southeast Asia markets, or in China, we sponsor Artistry on Ice, which started, actually I think it's been 3 years now, and it was done in conjunction with the Chinese government and the Olympic Committee in China when their Olympic gold pair medalists, Xiao and Zhang, actually who were pair skaters for 18 years, decided to marry. And they wanted to have the ceremony on ice. Wow. And they actually approached us as a way of doing a sponsorship because artistry on ice is really what ice skating is all about. Mm-hmm. Perfect connection for us.
Sure.
And again, it's really all about what is relevant in that marketplace and finding the right thing without going against the brand strategy.
What is your biggest market right now? Is it the U.S. or China?
China.
Okay.
China is our biggest
market. And how do your markets rank?
So it's, let's see, the top 4 would be the China, Japan, U.S., Korea are the top 4.
Okay.
And actually, we've grown so much globally that close to 90% of our business is outside of the U.S. now.
Wow. What are your goals as far as growth then?
Well, the
what
growth,
would you like to see happen?
the growth, the company set out a goal in 2007 when they did this growth through innovation to double the business by 2012. And so the goal was to become 12 by 12, which is an incredibly ambitious goal. And while we haven't announced it, yet we're fairly close to it. We were almost 11 billion last year. So we're fairly close to it. Incredible growth, particularly in the past 5 years where there's been a recession many places, which talks about how relevant this business model is everywhere across the globe.
You directly attribute that to the marketing effort, to this global focus on brand?
Not just to the marketing efforts, no. I think that, people want to be in business for themselves. What this does is it allows them a way to enter the business, very little capital and a tremendous amount of support within
Is it also the nature of our current economic environment that's really facilitated interest then?
I think the economic environment has helped as well because it allows people to put in the time they need and make the extra money that they need as well. And if they want to go further and get into it for, more extensively, some have even quit their careers and made Amway their own business.
That's great. Biggest challenge moving forward as we head into 2013? What will be your key focus?
The key focus is continuing to strengthen our brands and to make people aware of them. I think that is the biggest challenge for us. Often, even myself, when I joined the company in 2007, when the recruiter called, I said, oh my gosh, I didn't realize Amway still existed. And it is unbelievably global. And that's what makes the opportunity for me working for the company so great. My challenge is to make Amway a household name across the globe again. Not just Amway, but our brands. And to make people actually want to go and try the brands that we have to offer.
You've been in this job, as I said at the outset, since 2007. That far surpasses any average tenure of CMOs today. To what do you attribute your longevity, your success, and how would you characterize yourself as a marketer?
Well, I would say the longevity in this role has been because no day is ever the same. When you're dealing with the globe, I could wake up and one week, I'm in Japan, and the next week I'm in Germany, and the next week I'm in South Africa or something. And so it never gets dull. There's so much to do. And the other part that's really exciting is when you are with the distributors and they realize that you have come to listen to them and to help them build their business, they treat you like a rock star. It's, it's unbelievable. And so there is so much to do, and it never gets boring. And also, working for the company is a very caring company. They love the people. I work for both Doug and Steve, Doug DeVos, and Steve Van Andel, and they run the company as their father, who were the founders, Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel, do. An incredible synergy between the two of them, but completely complementary skills. And to be able to watch two leaders run a company together and to work for them is amazing. It's just a healthy working environment, an enjoyable one. They care about families.
And marketing is key.
And
clearly.
Marketing is key.
They value that.
They value marketing. But not only that, they value what I bring to the party. And I think that's what's been wonderful for me, is to take all the years of experience that I had in all the different traditional CPG companies, come to a company that said, look, we want to make this a part of our company. Help us do it. And then just kind of open the red carpet and say, make it happen. And so it's just been great. You don't get to leave a legacy like that in your career very often.